Oh, what is going on, everybody?
Hello!
It is Pixel Partners here, and welcome back to Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Finally, we have returned. We are back from...
Evan can talk again.
I can talk like normal. There's flashing lights outside. Someone's getting pulled over and or arrested. What an eventful moment already so far, because we're back. The police couldn't resist showing themselves up to be like,
in investigations.
Did you hear? The Pixel Partners are back. We gotta watch that shit live, yo.
Oh my God.
And so now here they are showing up for us, and then they knock on our door and they arrest me.
That's what the police sound like. They sound very casual.
Absolutely.
They don't sound professional at all.
They are business casuals.
Business casual?
When we left off, for those who don't remember,
oh, God.
We were investigating the last bits of the courtyard, getting closer and closer to the truth, and pretty much realizing that the warden has a lot larger of a hand in this than we originally suspected,
well,
or at least the characters originally suspected.
Yeah, then they suspected.
Yes, but Edgeworth's caught on to it, and then, of course, Justine and the best have to walk in and just be like, oh, hey, we're gonna fuck you up, and we're just gonna be like, nuh-uh. Because proving Mr. Key's innocence
the ball is in
all
our
that concerns
court.
me.
Get it? Because it's a court.
Yes.
And the ball's literally there.
Yeah.
Your words are like those of a defense attorney. Sorry. If you're willing to go that far, then I will show no leniency. In the name of the goddess of law, I shall turn your words against you. And at that moment, you will forfeit the title of prosecutor. You shall regret this.
Okay.
If you say so.
I don't think so, but okay. I mean, it's a video. I'm gonna just restart. Birds!
Oh, yeah. Is that... Are those fucking parakeets?
Probably. Hey, this whole place is a zoo, man.
They are
Who
parakeets. I would know. I used to have them like that blue. Oh my God. Dude, those... Sorry, but parakeets, they do not stop talking. Like, have you ever gone into a pet store and then go where the parakeets are? Oh my God. It's gossip central. It's like it's a high school cafeteria where they are.
Oh,
They just on and on and on. Okay. I shared my reasoning with you the day before. Since Mr. Elber did not see the body when he passed through the tunnel, can only have been dropped down the well during the show. The only one who could have performed such an act is the suspect. Or so you think.
Naturally have evidence to support your reasoning.
No.
Of course she does. Who do you think she is?
Simp. Earlier I received the official autopsy report.
Yo, he probably is a simp. Maybe saying that kid must be difficult.
I mean, she's a pretty lady, he's a teenage boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
The time of death was the night before the body was discovered.
She's got some hoo-has. He's all for that.
In other words, the day before the show.
Listen, we've all been thinking it.
I mean, yeah, like, it's like, does she put her clothes on and then vacuum seal them to her body?
That's the way every anime character works.
Usually, yes. The cause of death remains unchanged. A stab wound 4 inches deep. Jesus.
Okay,
that'll kill you.
Heck of a death.
Simon Keyes was not present on the stage for a period of 15 minutes. There was sufficient time for him to drop the body down the well.
She has not investigated the courtyard yet. That means... seems there is a hole in your argument.
You seem quite confident. Can you present evidence to support your claim?
Of course I can, and I will.
Been waiting days. Sorry, guys, by the way.
Days for this one. Yes, we do apologize, but we're back in full force.
It was precautions in order to, you know...
protect my mouth.
Yes.
Because, to be fair, like, on the...
It's not gone yet.
It's still there, but it doesn't really bother me anymore.
Yeah.
But on, like, the first couple days we couldn't... Whoo! Was that shit a pain in my mouth.
Like, you couldn't...
Literally.
You couldn't talk.
No, I literally had to resort to doing where my lips would barely move, or just talk without moving my lips. Like
yeah,
this,
and I
like
don't think you guys
would
want voice acting like that.
I could have only been dropped down the well during the show.
You'd be like, Edgeworth, are you okay?
You not see the body when you pass through the tunnel. Don't want to do that.
No. Like, that's how he had to talk, you guys.
Okay. I'm gonna press this so I can just figure out which one to present the evidence to, so. Can we possibly Elber just failed to notice the body?
Mr. Assistant's assistant, did you also enter the hole? Huh? How'd you know? I noticed that there was some mud stuck on your lovely hair ornament yesterday. That's amazing! Your powers of observation would even put a great thief to shame. In the name of the goddess of law, answer me truthfully. If there were a dead body in that tunnel, would it have escaped your notice?
Well, the thing is, yeah, I think I would have noticed something like that.
Do you understand now? Mr. Elbert did not see the body.
Could only have been dropped down during the show.
Hold it.
The body was dropped down the well during the show. I'd like to hear your reasoning for this.
The day before the show, Mr. Elbert lent the key to Mr. Knightley.
The key to Knightley's cell, huh?
Mr. Knightley escaped from his cell with the key and entered the cage Mr. Keyes had prepared. Mr. Keyes then moved the cage to the courtyard and proceeded to murder Mr. Knightley. The next day, when Mr. Elbert passed through the tunnel, he did not come across the body.
Please, wait a minute. Please. That doesn't seem right at all. Wasn't there a sweet smell in the tunnel? Mr. Knightley must have passed through it.
Mr. Knightley passed through the tunnel after Mr. Elbert did. Mr. Elbert passed through the tunnel at the start of the show. However, the body wasn't found until the end of the show.
Which is why you believe the body was dropped during the show.
Yes, and there's only one person who could have carried out this act.
No one who could have performed such an act as the suspect.
No?
There's no one else who could have committed the murder?
I heard that Miss Barry was present on stage at all times. A great number of the prisoners were also watching the show. Even the prisoners who did not see it have sufficient alibis.
How about the guards?
Along with the warden, nearly everyone was watching the show.
But there must have been a chance for even one of them to approach the well.
During the show, none of the guards left their posts. That much is certain. They all testified as such.
She's left no room for oversight.
Do you finally admit that only Simon Keyes could have been the criminal?
No. Judge Courtney has not thoroughly examined the courtyard like we have. So there's a bit of a gap in our argument, right? I should review the evidence we obtained in the courtyard. Yes, I mean, I know what because I mean, we've got all the stuff about Simon's device. We don't need the circuit breaker right now. I mean, realistically, it's only Simon's device that we would go over right now.
Yeah.
But at what point do I press it? Because it's the whole Simon used this for the big stunt in the show. Someone switched the weights with the body. That's our whole thought process on that. So
that wouldn't be presented to that.
No, I was just trying to look through to see what we all had. It could only have been dropped down the well during the show. The only one who could have performed such an act is the suspect. Maybe it's that one. Oh, well, we're in a circle. Okay, hang on there. Dropped down the well during the show. Oh wait, was it the only one? This one. I keep going the wrong way. I should just go this way. Boom. Right? Yeah. Perfect. Back in the groove. Now it's been a few days off.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for you, Judge Courtney, your argument doesn't hold any water. Just like the well.
Oh.
There's a device set up around the well here.
What is this device of which you speak?
Are you aware of the stunt in which Mr. Keyes is blown away by the elephant during the show?
I have heard of it. It would have been right before he exits the stage.
He tied one end of a length of rope to himself and the other end to a set of weights. He was able to perform the stunt by dropping these weights down the well. Wouldn't he have spent the whole place suspended up in the air?
Jesus.
That's why he had a stopper attached to the weighted end. The stopper was removed by pulling another rope. Around the well, we found evidence that the weights were switched with the victim's body. This was done by the real killer in order to shift suspicion away from them.
She's like, what?
Judging from the time of death, the murder was carried out in the early morning of the show. The true criminal had until the time of the show started to set up the device. But didn't Simon Keyes make that thing? And since he was also the one who used it, he is the best suspect.
Oh my god, there he goes.
Ergo, don't you agree?
Only
No.
I can use ergo.
If Mr. Keyes were the murderer, he would not have needed to do that. Miss Barry,
Yes?
was there anyone else who knew of the devices who knew the device he set up?
Well, let me see. Since we had to get everything about our show approved by the people here at the prison, I'd say there were others who knew about it.
And there you have it.
Oh boy. I see. You have indeed performed a thorough investigation, which is why I'm even further perplexed. Why do you not use your efforts for justice?
My actions are not just? Who made that decision?
You cannot understand even that, even now? Providing support to a defense attorney despite being a prosecutor. It is quite unnatural. This goes against the rules.
I am merely choosing to do what I think is right at this particular time. I travel down the road I have chosen. Your comprehension does not matter in the least.
Oh!
However, if anyone intends to interfere, I will show no mercy.
Perhaps this is a calling from the goddess of law. If you intend to rebel against her divine will, I will have no choice but to hand down my verdict. Pay heed to my words. I have one more reason to suspect Simon Keyes of murder.
Lay it on me.
What is it?
Your body. What?
What?
Alright.
Ezra, come on. Stop trying to cut cover for yourself.
Stop it.
If the body came from the courtyard, how was Mr. Knightley brought here from the detention center? Only Simon Keyes could have provided such an opportunity. Because of this fact, I find it most difficult to suspect any other party of this crime. While Simon Keyes was moving supplies for the show, he visited Mr. Knightley's cell. Does that not strike you as odd? Why else would he have brought a large covered cage with him? Oh, that does seem pretty suspicious.
Mr. Keyes was merely that kind of person. Dumb. It is entirely possible that he carelessly brought it there.
Oof.
Because he's dumb.
Oof. If that is possible...
It's not possible. He is dumb.
Then it is also possible that he was assisting in the escape. Am I wrong?
No, because he's dumb. He doesn't know what the word escape means. Unless the monkey taught it to him. I suppose I must refute her theory with evidence. Alright.
It's like escape. Isn't that a keyboard key?
The body came from the courtyard. How was Mr. Knightley brought here from the detention center? Only Simon Keyes could have provided such an opportunity. I'll press that.
What was that random voice?
I don't know. Are you certain that he was the only person who had the opportunity?
Have you forgotten? This is a prison. Due to the constant supervision, it would be impossible to do anything unusual.
Yeah, I think this is the one I need. Then wouldn't it be the same for Mr. Keyes?
Overruled! The warden has shown favor to the Barry Big Circus. Simon Keyes is a circus member, Miss Barry's apprentice no less. It could only have been him. He was able to move about freely within the facility.
Seems you forgot to mention that.
Overruled! The word forget does not exist in my dictionary.
Then it would be prudent for you to add this to your argument. Mr. Keyes may have been the only person who could move around freely in the prison. But on the day of the murder, there was a gap in time missing from the surveillance recordings. During that time, anyone could have done as they pleased. Do I have proof of this gap in the surveillance records?
Records?
Do I have proof of
Records?
this gap in the surveillance records? I mean,
You before that, instead of there was a gap in the surveillance records, you said there was a gap in the surveillance recordings. You changed records to recordings, and here you said records.
Wait, so do I need to show the security footage that shows that? Right? Because that shows the time difference on there, right? So I think that. Then the breakers will be later.
Yeah.
Mr. Keyes wasn't the only one who had the opportunity. Who else could have had the opportunity? The timestamp on the security camera is off by 3 hours. This means there is a 3-hour gap in time. During that time, anyone could have done it.
If that were the case, then the murderer would have created the gap in time intentionally. It would not have been a simple camera failure. Are you saying that is possible? Yes.
It's possible if he had access to this.
The breaker room.
Fucking security breaker. A circuit breaker, not security. I mean, it broke the security, so it is a security breaker.
Technically, yes.
In this courtyard, we found the circuit breaker for the security camera. And it was possible to access the breaker room both before and after the murder.
What? Ow. Unfortunately, it appears that you have fallen short of your intentions.
Mr. Ezra hasn't fallen short of anything.
So, can you explain how the murderer obtained the key to the breaker room?
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was locked, wasn't it? The warden hangs onto the key, right?
The breaker room has great importance even in a prison. There's no one who would be able to attain the key so easily.
Unless they were the warden.
Oh yeah, we're going there. Well, I can think of someone.
What did you say?
This person, the murderer, was able to get the key. They didn't even need to steal it. There can't be anyone like that! Besides, the breaker to the electrified fence is in that room too! Only one person could have done this. I didn't want to believe it myself, but I trust that my logic is sound.
Yep.
The person who used the key to enter the breaker room is...
Where's
that fucking face? There it is.
There she is. Patricia Rowland.
The murderer is...
Speak of the devil.
Warden Rowland.
On cue. Oh my, what an energetic little puppy.
That's because this dog is extremely fond of sweets. It seems to detect a sweet scent on you.
Oh heavens, no, I'm not even wearing perfume or anything of the sort.
What the dog detects is the sweet scent of death.
Oh god, how poetic!
And the dog's like, yay, death! It's like, whoa, hold on now. Fuck, sorry.
However, does that not imply that I committed a murder?
That's what I think.
Dude, stop bending that!
What?
The warden is the murderer. Mr. Ellsworth, are you serious about your statement? Oh, how amusing! The very thought of a warden committing a murder. Oh god, sounds like something out of a mystery novel. Precisely, your reasoning is in contempt.
Nothing of the sort. I did not want to believe it myself, but based on the evidence, I have no choice but to believe it. This evidence proves that Warden Rowland is the murderer. Wait.
What?
What is the evidence that we have that proves that she is the murderer? Is it the circuit breaker already? Because, well, it doesn't.
Is it the chisel?
I mean, we thought of that because no one should have had access to the bell. But that doesn't really. Maybe I'll go with the circuit breaker again. If not, take that to the chin. This proves you're the murderer.
Do you mean like a criminal just because of that is so cruel? It doesn't even have anything to do with me.
No, that wasn't it. This was reaction to Warden Rowland earlier. What was the cause of it? I mean, that guide me to... okay, thanks for the hand-holding.
Suppose your accusation was nothing more than a joke in poor taste after all.
No, it was not, Warden Rowland. You were the murderer.
Then why don't you show us the evidence?
Alright, so I know... is there anything about the tunnel having a sweet scent, or... No, okay, so I'm just gonna go with this because the sweet scent must have come from her.
Yeah.
So. The smell gave you away.
Oh god,
as you can plainly see, someone has taken notice.
This police dog?
He tracked a sweet smell that came from the body. And right now, he is telling us that the same scent is also on Warden Rowland.
You're a cruel one to accuse me of murder based on something like that. Right, Justine, darling.
It appears that Judge Courtney has reached the same conclusion as I have.
Mr. Edgeworth, this couldn't have been just a coincidence, could it?
The key to the breaker room and the same scent on the body. If there were only one, it could have been seen as such.
It appears we have reached a conclusion. We should now listen to what the warden has to say.
Indeed. Until we do, we cannot close this case.
Oh my goodness, everyone with such scary faces. So I'm the only one who could have been the murderer. Stop kissing your fox on the mouth. That just cannot be.
That threw you off so much. You're just like, why are you doing that? That's illegal.
Every time it distracts me. I'm just like, ugh,
it's illegal in so many countries.
Heard all about the case from Justine Darling here. Had I committed the murder, it would have taken place inside the holding cell. But I couldn't have moved the body. I never went into the prison. was caught up in my work. Up until the show, I was stuck in my office. Check up on it if you like. You'll find there's no record of me entering the prison.
Well, that's because a camera was cut out.
I don't know what reasoning you had, but I can say for sure I cannot be the killer.
But Mr. Buck, that's your pal. You gotta be the culprit.
Oh, heaven, it's not possible. I already told you I never went to the prison. And if you think I'm lying, why don't you check the records?
She wants us to check the records. She does seem confident. For now, all we can do is listen to her and try to draw out more information.
I do hope you'd understand, Mr. Edgeworth.
Oh, I understand all right. I understand all right. I heard all about the case from Justine Darling here. I committed the murder. It would have taken place inside the holding cell. Yes, that's correct, but I couldn't have moved the body. Never went into the prison.
You didn't move the body.
You never went into the prison? Do you have proof of this?
My, can't you wait for me to finish?
Oh, okay, that was a quick one. I was caught up in my work until the show was stuck in my office. Sure. You were in your office the whole time. Nothing strange happened?
Nope, nothing at all.
Were you looking for something?
I'm not too good at tidying up. I always forget where I put everything. The other day, I even lost track of an important piece of evidence.
How could you have made such a grave error?
If someone were to take something from me, I wouldn't even notice it the entire year. That's not good.
I guess it will be hard to attack with the key to the breaker room.
On the day of the incident, I was working in my office and searching for lost items. In other words, I couldn't have gone to the prison even if I'd wanted to.
Check them out if you like. You'll find there's no record of me entering the prison. You did not enter the prison from the entrance. But what if there was another route?
Oh my, are you suggesting something like a secret passage? I don't know if anything like that exists.
It's my firm belief you did possess an alternate route. That route was neither the entrance nor a secret passage. The route you used was from here. From the office, I'll assume? From the office to the courtyard and into there. You know, just because holding cell, and then you go around that way, and then you just...
Wait, it's not in her office, though. It was from the holding cell to Homeboy's cell, remember?
Well, no, we're assuming that that's where... You have to remember, that took a long time to get there. It only got to the cell after it was dropped from the well. But to have done that, she had to have gone up to the courtyard with the body. So I'm pretty sure when the camera was out, she just went from the holding cell and took it through her office over here and brought the body through. So I'd assume the route was from the warden's office or this area, like somewhere in here. I don't know where to put it, but the barbed wire fence.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait,
we didn't even think about that.
The
barbed wire fence.
You'd have moved nightly to your office first. This office leads directly to the garden side of the courtyard. If you had moved through here and past the barbed wire fence, you would have arrived at the prison without passing through the entrance or a tunnel.
I wonder what Mr. Edgeworth is saying. Haven't you noticed? There's a high voltage current running through the fence.
Yeah, obviously she couldn't have passed through it like that. The current to the fence could be switched off at the breaker room. And you were the only one who had the key, Warden Roland.
Most amusing. However, the breaker room is located on the prison side of the courtyard. How would the warden have accessed it from the detention center? Oh, quite right. Got you there, Mr. Edgeworth.
That's...
If there's no record of her passing through the prison entrance, it would not have been possible for her to turn off the fence's breaker.
Nah, but Warden Roland was the only one who had access. Don't let this faze you, Miles. But if I don't have a solution for this, she'll get away. Now, Uncle Ray never said, don't think, you know. It's just not good to be so stubborn about it. That's all. But no matter how you think about it, Warden Roland couldn't have done this alone. Huh?
Prosecutor Edgeworth, if you have failed to come up with a new I'm not amused, interrupting my judgment only to be silent.
Without thinking, I just blurted out objection.
You've done that before.
I have to answer. I won't let this end here. My reasoning is not over yet.
So how did she use the breaker without leaving the detention center?
It's perfectly possible with this method. What made it possible to turn off the breaker? I mean, we were talking about there being someone else
do it alone. Yeah.
Yeah. She had an accomplice. It was indeed impossible for one person. But what if there were two? Exactly just what I expected from you, Miles. Yes, you had an accomplice on the prison side.
Enough. I am disappointed in you, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
What's that, pal? You're making fun of Mr. Edgeworth? Let me at him.
The inmates at this prison all wear bracelets.
If they try and go where they please, they will set off the alarm. Ah!
So you've noticed. This is a prison, after all. Not only the prisoners, but the guards too are under constant scrutiny.
So why didn't anyone notice Elbird?
The only ones allowed to move around freely are the animals. And they certainly could not have used the breaker.
But it's still possible that a person did it.
Oh, jeez. Excluding the inmates and the guards, just what kind of person would you say it was?
We can't exclude the inmates and guards just yet. There was only one person, one whose movement was not restricted. So it shows that there was someone in the prison who could move around freely. Is this a... Yeah, saw its bracelet because his didn't work. Oh, man.
That is... It looks like the bracelet worn by the prisoners.
This belongs to a certain model inmate. And it's broken.
What? Just what? Who on earth does this belong to?
Oh, you wait. Frank saw it.
This fucker.
The warden's favorite inmate. That's
God.
a face. And the dog just licking the... Or the fox. Sorry, the fox is just like... Oh, I licked the pop filter.
Why'd you lick the pop filter?
I didn't think my tongue was there yet.
It's not even the pop filter. It's the mic. It's the actual mic.
Well, it's not the actual mic. This would still be a pop filter technically.
Yeah.
It's the little fluffy thing that goes on the...
I think that's circle.
I mean, I was gonna... I can't remember what they're actually called,
like
but we don't even have the fancy things. It's the foam that goes over it, but I was gonna call it...
Okay.
Well, I was gonna give a random fact of... I remember when I learned that... if anyone knows things about microphones, there's obviously these all foam things that go on them. But sometimes you can find some that are like... more of a... I don't want to say fuzzy, but they're kind of a feathery kind. And I think I remember I taught you that I learned from Rooster Teeth that they're like semi, like, not the official name, but the name that professionals use often is calling them dead cats.
Yeah.
Putting dead cats on the mics because of how...
Like, they're fluffy.
Yes, very fluffy. And I was just kind of like, oh gosh, I like a dead cat.
The fox is licking the sweat pouring down her face.
Yeah, that's pretty,
That's nasty.
Don't you think it's strange? He managed to keep this hidden while he moved around freely in his daily prison life. Golly, you think about it, it shouldn't be possible. I'd hazard a guess that this was because he was a special case. Just like Sir and Dog in the special cell.
The prosecutor's statement is mere conjecture.
You can find out by simply asking Saw himself. It is my firm belief that Mr. Saw and Warden Roland were partners in crime. In crime is the important part. Don't say partners, that's disgusting. Due to their collaboration, another route surfaces. For a route by which Knightley's body was moved to the prison. There were two obstacles that needed to be dealt with. The security camera in the front of Knightley's cell, and the electric fence in the courtyard. Both these problems could have been solved with a single stroke, by having Saw switch off the breakers in the breaker room.
Mr. Edgeworth, could you wait one moment?
No. Do you still intend to deny it, Warden Roland?
I give in. I confess. Warden Roland! No, this cannot be! Yes, it's just as he says. God, that annoying car outside! Will you be quiet? Frank Sard and I were partners in crime.
No way!
You did it, Mr. Edgeworth!
Well done, Miles. At least we'll have the real culprit cornered.
At last.
At last we have the real culprit cornered.
Like Mr. Edgeworth said, Frankie operated the breaker, but we were not responsible for Knightley's murder.
What?
Ow, my ears.
That was loud.
You peeked the microphone.
I peeked everything.
Warden Roland, whatever do you mean? Judge Courtney, would the goddess of law hear my confession? Oh my god. The goddess of law is merciful. She will absolve you. I was being threatened. That's why I had no choice but to do as I was told.
So who was threatening you?
Is this where they're trying to pin it on? They just said his name and I can't remember it. Cerndogan. That's when he said it was him because she wants to get him for anything possible, probably. So.
Yep.
There we go.
Cerndogan, that assassin.
Dogan.
It's been going on since that man came to the prison.
Sure.
I'll never forget that day. What day? Oh god.
Oh, goodness.
When we were both alone, he suddenly said to me,
I have many dogs outside the prison.
Dogs?
Loyal dogs who obey my every command.
I soon realized that what Dogan referred to were not really dogs, but his human henchmen. And that's not all he said.
You better watch how you treat me. If you don't want you and your family to become dog food.
Jesus.
Wow, that's dark. Holy shit.
I had no choice. I gave him the special cell. I gave him anything he desired.
Anything he desired? You don't mean the supplier?
That's right. Anything he ordered, I would deliver to him. An underground dealership. I was the one who won over Frankie. It was simple. I just offered him special privileges within the prison. And these underground dealings... Once a week in the middle of the night, Frankie would shut off 2 of the breakers, so I could move from my office to the courtyard without being seen by the security camera. I would go past the fence and drop the goods down the well near the prison. And then I'd sprinkle this perfume over it.
So that's the true identity of the sweet scent.
The scented perfume was a signal for Dogan's dog. After picking up the scent, it would carry the goods to Dogan. Of course, it had to be done while Elbert was away from his cell.
I'm surprised they never found out about it, pal.
We have a strict timetable here at the prison. Mealtime, exercise time. It's easy to know when he's away from his cell. And since little Rocky is afraid of Dogan's dog, I didn't have to worry about him making noise.
So having full knowledge of the prison's inner workings, she made the deliveries herself.
That
This would
explains
have
a lot.
ensured there were no slip-ups.
Frankie would turn the breakers back on in the early morning and the delivery was complete. I then modified the timestamp on the security camera. You have told us a great deal. The goddess of law accepts your penitent confession. As the warden of the prison, how could I have done such a foolish thing? The day Knightley was killed was also a delivery day. Seems Frankie was working the breakers as usual. That day I had nothing to send, so I did not go to the courtyard at all.
The secret of the supply system. So then Warden Roland was...
The police have been searching for Dogan's henchmen for ages. I've also been helping them, but... I've been interrogating him personally in my office, but... No matter how much evidence we have on him, we can't get a single word out of him.
So the reason you kept on interrogating him...
Yes, was to find his henchmen. I borrowed all the evidence from the police and carried out the interrogation myself.
Goodness, she's going...
I kept an eye on all his actions and examined all of his mail.
Mail? Like his correspondence chest letters?
But I could never uncover the true identity of his henchmen. This fear is something you could never understand. Prosecutor Edgeworth, you were listening, right?
Yes.
I'd say this confession clears the warden of all suspicion.
Potentially.
Is it really necessary to press her further on this than this?
Before we get into that, now I've thought this for a little bit, but I don't think I ever said it because there wasn't anything that I could really match it to. I more thought of it as something interesting, but I wonder if the correspondence chess game isn't actually like a chess game but it's orders from him to Knightley and a way to move his crew around in the actual, like, world for him to kind of control his men and to use the correspondence chest of a way of knowing what his people are doing outside of prison and what to do with them next. And then that would go to Knightley, and Knightley would do his thing with Dogen's henchmen and then be like, this is what I've done. And then Dogen would make the moves. So instead of it actually being a chess game, that was actually
like
a way
code?
of... Yes, it was actually a way of him being able to move his people around. And I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. But now that she's kind of talked about being able to unfind the henchmen and looking through the mail, they're kind of telling us to put those two together. So I think that's probably what it is that the way that Dogen is controlling his henchmen outside the prison is by using that chess game, which probably meant that Knightley was tied with Dogen, and would actually kind of give a reason for Dogen to want Knightley dead, because if he was going to be arrested and interrogated, he's like, I have to cover my tracks.
Yeah.
I need to cut him off.
And that explains why his cell is so
So yes, because he's threatened Courtney, or not Courtney, but the Warden to fucking high hell.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're gonna find out if my theory is correct next time.
Or the time after, but you know, soon.
Yeah, it's gonna come up very soon. Yes, very soon.
Whew.